There we go.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Cool Banker George. I hope you had a nice weekend and a nice new year. 2025 is finally here. We had a challenging 2024, and I hope the 2025 will be a prosperous run. As Angie said, the 2025 is going to be great. I trust you, Angie. You always give us some hope. But seriously, there are a lot of good things going for 2025. The economy is good, and productivity went up, and also the labor market is pretty healthy too. But of course, we have some challenges. The inflation is still not totally under control, and the Fed is expressing some reservations that they may not be able to reduce the interest rate to the level that they want it to be in the first place. And so instead of five reduction in interest rate, they're projecting only two. So that's kind of a scale back, and of course that's a little bit disappointment for the Wall Street. That is why it trigger 1100 point down for the Dow Jones last Thursday, I think. But nevertheless, we still have hope, and hopefully, with the new presidency, and there's some willingness to compromise with the tariff, the trade war with China, and hopefully we'll have a better 2025. But nevertheless, as a real estate agent or broker, hey, goes on, we still have to work. We will have to try our best, and hey, hopefully for the best outcome. Okay. So we are here. Co-banker George is here to help you guys to excel. So be rest assured that we're going to have a good one, 2025. Okay. And with that, I would like to, and as you know, that Frank Gadillo is going to be our a spotlight speaker today. But before we get to him, let's introduce all the other affiliates first. So let's begin with Mary. Mary, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Wow, what do we have for going for 2025? I think it's really quiet right now, but I don't anticipate that to last. I think we're all in that. We're still in the holiday mode, where everybody's kind of still relishing in the holiday, but I do believe things are going to pick up. The interest rates, they are what they are. I think people will adjust. It has not stopped people from putting things onto the market. It has not stopped having offers accepted. I think we're seeing more trials and tribulations in our transactions. So they're becoming a little bit more difficult because people are becoming more pickier because they can be pickier. So you're seeing more conflict in your transactions, but they haven't stopped. So, it's doing the same thing you've always done. It's being, steadfast in your farming, reaching out to your sphere of influence, planting your seeds, doing your farming, whatever you need from Contempo Escrow with myself. Always there for you guys to help you along your way. But all I can say is for 2025, just keep doing what you've always done and the business will come. Have a great week.
Great. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for the encouragement. All right, let's Sandy. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, Coldwell Banker George. Happy New Year, right? Let's
Yes.
start on the right foot here, everybody. Marie's absolutely right. This year, 2025 is actually going to be a good year if that's what you want it to be, right? It will be exactly what you make of it, like every year is. So always a bright side, always something to look forward to. So get out there and do your farming. This is actually the best time to do it, right? The weather's not too hot, it's not too cold. Could be a little breezy, so I wouldn't wear a hat. We have your farming materials. I have door hangers, I have bags, I have different types of door hangers. I have personalized marketing materials, which I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. It's easy. All you have to do is ask and we'll bring it to you. You have no shortage of fantastic affiliates for this office, and they all want you to succeed. And we'll all do whatever we can to help you succeed. But all you have to do is ask us. Between the, I don't know, half a dozen of us that are on this call, you can get no shortage of free stuff. Free. to take out into your farms. You do your part, and then we'll help you by providing everything that we've got to help you be successful. I'll just put my info into chat. Have a fabulous week. I'll be at your office Wednesday. If you need door hangers, call, text, or email me today or tomorrow. Don't do it Wednesday morning. I'll already be in my car. I will load up the car. I'll drive it over Wednesday. I'll drop it all off. If you need it, all you have to do is ask. Have a great day.
Oh, great. You're coming to our Hamburg office on Wednesday? Wonderful. Yeah, that's very nice of you. Thank you, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy, it's Rebecca. Can I have your cell number?
You have to unmute.
Oh, okay.
Sandy, you have to unmute.
I'll throw it into chat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Sandy. All right. Good morning, Maria. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well, just recovering from a slight cold that hit me during the holidays, but it didn't help to run on New Year's Eve night in the early wee hours of the morning. There are some changes coming up with home warranty on the HVAC system effective this year, January 1st, 2025. The refrigerant on our HVAC systems will now be the A2L. And this will be effective this year. And just to be mindful that the refrigerant on some of the older units, like the 410AA, will be phasing out. Going forward, I think you need to check those home inspections to see what kind of refrigerant they have in there. And just to make the homeowner aware that if the unit should fail or stop working, or they need some type of service and they have the old refrigerant, they have to be mindful that some changes might not all be completely covered. And we don't charge for refrigerant, but again, the conversions on, of course, I'm not a technician, but just be aware of those on your home inspection. Other than that, you guys make 2025 a great year. And I like what Frank said. There is a silver lining on everything. And like Angie said, you can find good in everything. So make it this year fabulous. Thank you.
Good. Well, Maria, I hope you can find good in something too, and hopefully you will recover from your cold very soon. Okay? Thank you, Maria. All right, Angie Tang from First American Title. Thank you, Angie. You're always smiling. I like that. Like your
Thank
beautiful
you.
smile.
Thank you. So with 2025, did anybody make resolutions? Because this is the year when beginning of the year or the time to do resolutions. So I'm going to share some really amazing stats and hopefully everybody's resolution. Oh, hopefully everybody has a resolution first off. But if you don't have a resolution, it's a great way to start the year off with a resolution because that's a goal in mind. So either have a vision board, a recording to yourself of what your resolution is, write a letter to your future self so you can keep on track with your resolution. The reason why is because 23% of people start with a resolution and only 9% follow through with a resolution within the first week. The first week. So we have to keep ourselves accountable, have the correct mindset, keep going because there are beautiful things in this world to conquer and to make sure that you're mindful of them so that you keep them close to you when there are challenges, because those are those memories that will guide you through the challenging parts of whether or not you're going to meet your goals. So with that in mind, when it comes to farming, there is some changes in 2025 that's going to affect farming, and it's going to affect our industry pretty drastically. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we are going to be doing a training on it from our company. It's called the TCPA 1-to-1 rule. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
It's coming into effect this month, at the end of this month, and it's going to have some hefty weight if you do not comply with these government regulations. So it's called the TCPA 1-to-1 rule. I'm going to learn more about it, but it's going to affect the way we market, especially cold calling. So once I learn a lot more about it, I can then feel much more comfortable explaining it to you. But it's going to be a different way of farming when you're doing your cold calling, and it's going to be it's going to put a lot of restrictions. And I know that the fines, I think, are, if I can recall, because I did a little bit of research online because I wanted to know a little bit before my training. But it is going to be about $500 per call that you do without following some regulations and
Wow.
guidelines for
Uh-huh.
4 years. So
Wow.
it's 500 per call for 4 years
You kidding?
in totality. Yeah, it's a hefty fine if we don't follow the
Wow.
regulations. I'm going to learn a little bit more about it so that I can talk more about it in the meetings. But just keep that in mind. It's coming. It's at the end of this month. If you're not too sure
Oh.
about it, look it up. It's TCPA 1-to-1 rule on how we're going
Okay.
to be lead genning.
Maybe after y'all do all the research and you can have a lunch and learn with us
Sure.
and talk about it. We can also participate too.
Perfect.
In asking you some questions. Is that okay?
Anytime.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Have a
Thank
great
you. Thank you,
2025,
Angie.
guys.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
You're always very helpful. Okay, now Mark, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, well, it's been a month since you guys have had a meeting, but I'm doing great. Had a fabulous holiday. I always cherish the time with
Okay.
family, and it's my favorite time of year. But we're ready to start the new year. Again, insurance is going to be a challenging issue and criteria, and I am asking all my realtors, not only the buyer's agent, but the listing agent to be proactive. It's still a very tight market. There is some talks of the Department of Insurance allowing companies to charge for the high fire areas. That should open up the market, but that's going to still be down the road for another few months. So, and so right now, again, be proactive, be proactive, be proactive. If you don't have somebody on your team, give me the opportunity. I'm here to assist you, walk you through, even if we're not part of the transaction, as my commitment to Peter and your team. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Mark, it's really the insurance is a real problem now, just because I have an agent who just recently happened a deal that the buyer cannot close because get insurance, even though he remove all the contingencies, and then in the beginning he didn't put in the insurance in contingency, and now the seller is pushing him to close. Otherwise, they'll cancel the contract, So that is a real problem now. So I would advise all the agents in the very beginning, you put in the insurance agent insurance contingency, no matter what. I think that's a good practice. Don't you think, Mark?
Absolutely. That happened quite a bit, especially at the end of the last year. And it is more and more restrictive, which it means like buyers are not realizing that the insurance might be even as much as triple or quadruple what the existing seller selling it for. Is buying their insurance for. So if you as a buyer's agent aren't educating your buyers, they are going to have sticker shock, and then all that work that you put into it, they cancel the deal, and it goes to pot. So if you set the expectation and the standard and say, hey, this is a temporary thing that we need to go through, like when there's high mortgage rates, when the market settles down, perhaps in the end of the year or next year, then they can readjust. So the primary thing right now is to get the home, and the insurance is just the negative part of it.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's all the affiliates. Do we have anybody who comes in late before we introduce Frank? Well, if not, Frank, everybody knows you, so you don't really need any introduction. So you're going to talk to us about the mortgages, right? So
yes,
let's do it.
all right.
Thank you.
And I really want to be mindful of my time. So I have a timer in front of me, so I know I have at this point 14 minutes, if not less than that. That's one thing that I do. I tend to talk a lot, but I say a lot of meaning, a lot of intention, but I'm going to be also mindful. That's one of the key words of 2025.
Okay, great.
So what I wanted to talk about, and it's going to be more just verbal stuff. I might put a couple of slides if I might get permission to do some share screening. But it's really going to be about the importance of a strong lender relationship into 2025. And that is it's a given. You always have to have a strong relationship with your lenders. And it's not just only about when an agent says, oh, I have a strong relationship with my lender. I call him and he answers. Gives me the best rates, best service, closes on time, does this, does that, gives me food, gives me candy, gives me dollars, gives me tickets. It's not about that. It's about having a relationship. And a relationship really comes down to just I'm butting it down to like three things. And I can send this to you guys on an email later on so that way you guys can understand where I'm coming from. That when it comes to relationship, it's about having streamlined communication. And that is very key. And it's not just only just to, talk about the best rates, best service, and closing, but to really emphasize the importance of clarity and timely communication between the lender, the buyer, and the agent in any stage of the process. With this in mind, I put three items at introduction. So say, for example, like the agents are the ones that go out there and get the leads, send it to the lender and say, here, talk to my lender, he's going to qualify you. At introduction, it's understanding the client and what they're about, why they're looking at buying a home, not just only because it's a house and has four walls, understanding the whys behind it. Also understanding their personality, their language, their culture, their ethics, not just only ethnicity, because you have to also understand too, like where they're coming from so that we're empathetic to what their needs are, what's going on with their family. It's not just only buying a house and getting it going. The next stage is also at pre-approval stage. And it's not just only when the lender is going to tell the agent, okay, here's what they qualify. Max is 700,000 with 5% down, and here's their payment. No, it's also knowing that, hey, especially right now with the way rates have been from August to September to like November, December now, where rates have gone up, is also telling that agent, hey, hey, Lucy, by the way, here's your client, they're qualified at 700,000 with 5% down at this rate of 6.875. If rates go up, what does that do? How does that affect them? They're going to qualify for less because that payment's going to change. What if rates go down? Well, they can qualify for more. What if they spend money? So you have to also understand all those little factors, that it's being clear with everything so that they know what to do. Many times that we qualify them at a certain price, and then the buyer says, "Ooh, I see that house. Ooh, I saw that house," and the price keeps on going higher and higher and higher, but they're qualified only at a certain amount. And I know they love their home at a certain price, but sometimes we got to tell them, hey, kind of go back to reality a little bit. And now, especially, the biggest talk of the town hasn't been rates so much. People always ask me, what are the rates? Now they tell me, what's my insurance cost? So those are very important to really understand the clarity and timeliness of communication with everything at every process. And just bottom line, being transparent with and working as a team to collab with the agent to address, the max price versus max payment. Because sometimes, we can qualify them at 700,000 at 5% down and the payments are 54.35 a month. But what if the buyer says, you know what, I have to take care of mom or grandma, or we have kids that we pay tuition. I can only squeeze down no more than $5,000. And that's important, that even though on paper it says they're good and the DU says they're good, but if we go that far to that extreme and we top over that cliff, so to speak, of that payment, I don't want that buyer to come back to me and say, look, I bought a house that I can't afford. And then what happens later on? We just can't tell, oh, sorry, that's your problem, not mine. No, we have to be empathetic to them every step of the way. Another one is when it comes to problem solving. And that's when it comes to having a big, strong relationship with the lender. That when it comes to problem solving is, highlighting the ability to address any kind of loan related situation and challenge that comes up before and during the transaction. So before the transaction, how much money do they have? Sometimes buyers say, hey, I have $50,000 in the bank, or let's say $70,000 in the bank, and they're qualified at $700,000. Sometimes agents would say, I mean, not you guys, but more other agents out there will say, oh, cool, that's 10% down. I'm going to write down 10% down. But then we have to then keep in mind that the lender has to consider closing costs. Who's going to pay it? Usually the buyer does. They have reserves. They need to have reserves. We don't want to keep them home rich and cash poor that they can't even afford to even move to the house with zero money in their pocket. So we have to just be mindful of all those little items. When it comes to inspection and appraisal, that's always the biggest thing, because when nowadays we're seeing close of escrows are 17 days with 7-day contingencies of appraisal alone and inspections. And then at day 6, we get the inspection. At day 7, we get the appraisal. And what if the appraisal says there's, things with the water pipes or whatnot, or inspection comes out with it? Who's going to pay for them? Is the seller going to pay for it? What if they don't? Is that going to affect the ability of closing the loan? And that's where the lender has to be very almost unapologetically clear with that agent, so that we understand each other and we know how to address it. I always say good news can wait, bad news can't. And that's so important because if there's good news, everything's good. When bad news happens, address it right then and there. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Address it right then and there. Hey, there's an appraisal situation that comes up that value is good. However, there's the garage door that needs a fire retardant. Well, seller's not going to do anything because they're getting divorced and that's not their problem. Well, then who's going to put it? So it's little things like that that can always trigger something. And we hope that the agents don't have to pay for that. We hope the lenders don't have to pay for it. But let's address it so that way we know what's going to happen at closing. And because of those things, those are little conditions that goes to my next piece. Conditions, knowing that is all the money there, not just only seeing that the money is in the account for 2 months, but there's no changes in there. And I had a good example right now where I have a client that he's right now on vacation. He went to Egypt. He's coming back on the 13th. It was supposed to close tomorrow. That's another one. And because also he's like, not a problem, I'll sign later. Well, hold on, let's address this. And we have to tell the agent, both agents, buyer agent and listing agent, that great news, the loan's been approved, appraisal's been signed off, everything's been signed off since December 18th, okay? And yet we cannot close it till January 13th. Whoa, why? What's the issue? And because we told him about the vacation, even though we can do e-doc signing, it's only limited on some of the things. But they're thinking, okay, well, he comes back, then we'll close it. Well, then we have to also address, the signing date, the funds, the transfer, all those little things. So it's having communication all the way through so that we know when he's going to come back, when he's going to sign, get the notary, sign the fund, or send the funds, and move forward. A key piece that happened with that, and this is very important, especially when it comes to insurance. He had the insurance, and we addressed insurance on day one. The day we open is the day we get the insurance, and we don't want to address things later on down the line. Insurance came in, luckily, for this property in Beaumont for $1,900. We're like, what? And for Mercury, too. We're like, what? How? We're not going to question. They got it done. They liked it. However, that was for 2024. In 2025, because now the property is 1 year older, the insurance went up to $2,500. So it's little things like that we need to be very mindful of all those things, because bottom line, we as lenders, we're the cooks. You agents, you're the chefs. You're the ones that present the plate and say, look, here's the beautiful home, here's everything else, here's your keys. But we're like the cooks in the restaurant, that we're like chopping up the food, making sure everything is good, then present it well so that the agent looks good. My job as a lender is to make you agents look amazing so that you can close confidently, so you can do the right job, so you can make sure that what we're doing and what we're saying, it's going to be good at the end. So again, good news can wait, bad news can't. That's something we addressed. And when it came to this buyer, he was already at his max. I qualified him at 520 on a regular single family home. He went to 532. Okay, not a big difference, but $70 does make a difference. Oh, also HOA of 110. That's $180 more of a difference. And the tax rate's not 1.25, it's 1.6. That's a $300 difference. And all those little things had to come down to it, that I'm so blessed that we happened to lock in right before the rates changed in the middle of December. That we happened to get him, we had to pay points. And I told this guy, I'm sorry, you have to pay these points because any interest rate higher, you won't qualify. And we had to be very emphatically and apologetically clear with him so he understands those things. So that's where having that clear communication all the way through. And once you close it, once everything's good, we still have to have that strong relationship as an agent and a lender. It's not just, okay, you close your deal, bye, good luck, I made my commission, I'm going to walk away and go to Vegas. It's about still being there with you every step of the way, so you build long-term partnerships, not just relationships, but partnerships, understanding the value of a strong, mutually beneficial relationship between lender and the realtor. So we can continue to stay in contact with those buyers that are now homeowners, and then become our friends. They become family. We call them and do annual reviews of them about their income taxes, their property taxes, their insurance. If it's changed, if it didn't change, what happened with it? What are the impounds? The servicer changer, all those little things, so that we can then continue being there, planting little seeds, just the way like Marie said, planting those seeds and say, hey, I noticed your kid just graduated last year from UC Irvine. Congrats. Oh, she graduated as a nurse? Wow. Oh, she has a boyfriend? Oh, that's awesome. Hey, are you thinking of keeping her in the house? Or maybe you want her to buy a home later on in wherever, Riverside, in a condo, because she's looking at a job out there in Cathedral City or Palm Springs. it's best that you plant those seeds and along the way alongside your lender, because they're always going to see that lender every month. They might see you once a year when it comes to Christmas cards, but be there with them. And that lender has to be there and be your best advocate to say, hey, by the way, I saw this, some things change with your home. Have you called Peter? Have you called Maria? Have you called Lucy? Have you called Jimmy? Let's give them a call. Let's do a talk with each other. I have to be that person to always go back to you, because I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds it. I'm always going to feed it back. And that's how we create business relationships. There's a tool that we use called HomeBot. Have you guys heard about the system called HomeBot? Or Peter, have you?
No,
I'm gonna send you a couple links, Peter, and I could even probably do it here on the screen if I'm able to do a share screen. Do you think I can?
Michelle? Michelle has to grant you the permission.
He has the permission. You're not,
I'm gonna
yeah,
do it
you
right now.
have it.
Permission, Frank.
I'm gonna do it right now. Let's see if it works.
Well, that's your point.
Okay, let's see how mortgage rates are. This is how they're doing from September, and then they went up in November, they went back down in December. That's not important. It's important. This is HomeBot, and this is really, really cool because all of our clients, we put them into the system that it works like a Zillow without being Zillow. It works like where you can, the buyer, the homeowner, can see a monthly progress report of his property, of what he bought it for, 907. He bought it in February 2023. And look how much it's worth now, 1.4. What's really cool is that they get this every single month. It goes to them directly. And what I mean, it's not Zillow, is that it's not attached to say, oh, call this other agent that you don't know anything about. They're going to contact you. It's a personal communication. It's an automatic system, but it's not spam. So that we can send this out to them, and every single month they can see what goes on with their home. They can see as far as how much it's progressed in value. They can also see what goes on with the markets. If they're looking at something else, if they're looking at buying a home maybe later on. You
So
can see
it's the marketing tools, right, Frank?
it's a great marketing tool for homeowners.
Okay.
Now
Maybe
they can
you
see
can-
what's been selling in the area. I'm sorry?
Yeah, maybe you can have lunch and learn someday, teach our agents how to do it.
I would love to, because this is where you as an agent, if you guys want to try it out, you can send me your home address. So that way you can see exactly what it does. I'm not gonna like go after you and say, oh, let me see what goes on your home and let me sell your house. No, but that way you can see what you see visually. And we also have a co-sponsoring thing. I put myself in here because I wanted to see how it worked. I haven't put my wife in there, but she hasn't done anything. Look, and this one gal tried it, and it's been helping her out because she sends it to 42 of her leads. I don't see anything what you put in there. The only thing they see me is at the very bottom of a screen that says, oh, you're thinking about questions about loans? Call Frank. And we can set you up on a free basis, up to 25 people. So if you want to try it with yourself and somebody else, try it. It's great. I could even send you as far as what they see, what they don't see, so that you can feel confident about it. And look, this is what I did for myself. I put myself as an agent. This is my mom's house, what it's worth, what homes have been selling in the area, what goes on. And if you're even looking about interest rates, I'll even tell you somewhere in there what goes on with rates as an average. All those little things are really cool that we can help you as an agent become stronger with your clients and us be stronger with you. Hope I was able to get it down to the point that's under 15 minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But
Okay.
bottom line,
Yeah, as I
key is
said,
just be strong.
you can have lunch and learn and tell us more about that. Okay. Thank
Thank you
very
guys so much. I hope I was able to give you guys
Any
some good
question
clarity.
any question for Frank before we continue? No? Okay, good, very good. All right. Well, before we go to the company business, I have a couple of announcements to make. As you know, we don't this week is a slow week. We don't have a lunch and learn, but we do have the training this Friday. The training will be on RPA. There's a lot of changes in the new RPA that was released in December of 2024, and we are going to really have a detailed review of the changes and also explain how we can maximize the RPA to our benefit. And Michelle will be the main trainer. and I will be participating too. It will be a hybrid, which is you can attend in person and as well as in Zoom. Okay, but if you can come in person, that would be even better because then you have a more interactive learning experience. Okay, Michelle, you have anything to add about the training this Friday?
No, I'm looking forward to going over the RPA with everybody. It's a learning experience for each of us since there's changes.
Yeah,
So it'll
that's a
be a
lot of
very
changes.
good class.
Right. So hope you can make it to the training this Friday. Okay. All right. With that, I will bring up our manager, Doug Meyer for Arcadia office. Doug, how are you today?
I'm here. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so you know what? There's some agents that make over $1 million a year, and there's a lot of agents that make nothing. And you know what the difference is? What they do every day. If you're serious about this business, you need to get up in the morning, have a plan, follow that plan, and make sure that plan includes meeting with people and getting out there and talking to people, not being a secret agent. Let people know what you do, be proud of what you do, know that you're good, go to a lot of training, and basically just be out there talking to people. I mean, I'm telling you, if you stay at home and watch TV all day, I'm sorry, your bank account's not going to get any better. But if you actually go out and meet with people, talk to, I don't care if it's a gym, taking your dog for a walk, at the car wash, at the market, doesn't matter where you're at. Just talk to people, let people know what you do, okay? And you'll be surprised at how many things will just pop up. Hey, you know what? My neighbor's thinking of selling their house. Maybe you can go talk to them. Voila, there's a nice lead for you, okay? I mean, it comes up all the time. Frank did a real good class a while back. I hope he does it again on prospecting and stuff. It was really, really good. And Sandy, she's gone now, but you know, when she talked about all the free stuff for marketing and stuff, I mean, free never sounded so good. I mean, you know, if you're on a budget, you just go out and talk to people, meet people. People are everywhere, you know. Just be busy and know that you can make a difference in your life, in your family's life, and in your people you care about. Maybe you have charities that you want to work for. Maybe you don't need the money, but maybe you want to donate to charities. Doesn't matter. If you're in this business, enjoy it. Go out there and go to work. Talk to people. Okay, in Arcadia, this last week we have 4 new listings and 4 new sales. So I like to tell you about 2 of them. One of them, it's hard to pronounce his name. It's Eugene Street in Irvine. It's a 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 2.2 million. Shirley Chung has a listing. Also in Del Mar in Pasadena, a residential lease, Kathy Wang, 3.3 million. Arthur He has got 4 units in Alhambra, guys, in your neck of the woods, Sierra Vista, 4 units, 1,980,000. And I just turned in the listing this morning in Sierra Madre, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2.2 million. Beautiful location, beautiful yards. It's really the house needs decorating, but it's a really, really good value. Okay, and also I've got a pocket list. I've got a pocket listing. Yeah. Oh, David's talking. I got a pocket listing in Duarte. That's 4 separate houses, and you can divide each house into a separate lot with an extra lot to go. Around $2 million. It's right there by that golf course. You know where the 7-Eleven golf course is, Las Lomas. It's right in that area. So the nice area near the park. Okay, that's it. The listings.
Doug, is that how big is the lot? Are you selling it as a land value?
No.
Or
no. The
income property.
Well, as income property, but the potential when you split the lot is each house could sell for probably $700,000-800,000. So you've got about $3 million value after the lot splits. The present owner doesn't want to go through it.
Okay, but you have to do the splitting the lot, right? You have to do
that's going to cost you. Yep.
that
But you make $1 million.
development.
But you make $1 million doing it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And the lot size is 31,000.
Okay.
Big lot, great location. Okay, some sales we got here, guys. In San Marino, we did a lease. If you can imagine this lease, residential, 16,000 a month.
Cool.
It's above my budget. That's Rita Chow. Rita's got that one. I have no idea. I just got the basic information.
Okay.
Tien Gon put a property in Valencia for sale for $959,500. Sharon Chow has got a lease in Diamond Bar that she leased out for $6,200 a month. And David's listing on Foss and Arcadia was sold by David and Yin for $1.4 million. So I expect this to be a great year, guys. But individually, right now, you can decide, is it going to be a great year for you or not? If it's going to be a great year, figure out what you're going to do and just do it. Okay? There's business out there. No matter what the market, there's business out there. That's all I got, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. You're right. You know, in real estate, it's a matter of persistence and consistency. You know, you have to be consistent as well as persistent. You know, trying to get it's a people business. You get more people, you get more success. So that's how
Peter,
it's the number game.
Peter, anytime anybody wants to go over a business plan or they need help with anything, just call me. I'm here for both offices.
Yeah, good. Yeah, same with here in Alhambra office. Michelle and I are helping out the agents to formulate a business plan. So if you need some help, reach to us for help. Okay. All right, then for the Alhambra office, we have 4 listings and 3 sales. The listings for the first listing is the business opportunity by Emilio Campos for $85,000 for a business opportunity in Pasadena. And another listing is by Nina Shi. It is a condo in Monterey Park for $600,000. Pretty nice condo in Monterey Park and very good location. So if you have clients wants to buy a condo in Monterey Park, this is pretty reasonable price. Okay, and another one condo is by Harrison Cam for $887,000 in Monterey Park also. And this one is in Nicholson Avenue, where a pretty good location and good parking and pretty relatively new. Okay, so and I think Harrison's having open house this Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to go and take a look, you're welcome to contact him. Okay, Harrison Camp, $887,000 condo in the Monterey Park. And another listing is for Stephen Trent. It's a lease, commercial lease for $2,500 per month in the Fullerton. Okay, and for as far as sales concerned, we have 3 sales. First one is a condo by Nina Shi, $600,000 in Monterey Park. I think that's the same thing that she listed, and she already had a client looking, to buy it for $600,000. So, hey, the condo are selling pretty good in Monterey Park, looks like. And then Shimei Cam has a lease in San Dimas for $87,770. It's a commercial lease and 5% commission. The last but not the least is a residential by Emilio Campo for $890,000 in Altadena, and the listing commission is 3%. Okay, so that's all the listing and the sales. Are there any new ones that want to speak up? And are there any reduction in price that you want to pitch in? Any agents want to make us a pitch for his or her properties? Jimmy, do you have anything to add? You have to
mute myself. Okay, there I go. Sorry. I do have one this weekend. It will be one in Acacia. Turn this down. Is that better? I do have one in Acacia. That'll be 1524 Unit 3 this Saturday from 2 to 4. And I also have another one this Sunday over at Chapel Avenue from 2 to 4 also. We have one property that's pending, but the other one is still for sale. So I will be hosting an open house for that property.
Okay, great. This Saturday and Sunday?
This Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, great. If anybody's interested, can contact Jimmy. Okay, anybody else? Okay, if not, then I'll go to today's presentation. I hope this going to be a short one. I'm going to tell you about all the forms that have substantive revisions. Remember last week I told you about the new release by the CAR. There are 64 forms altogether that is either a new form or revised form. We gone through the new ones last time we met, and now I'm going to tell you about these forms that have substantive revision. There are about 20 of them, and then the last batch of forms will be like another 25 forms that has there's not some substantive revision, but nevertheless, they have some kind of revision that you need to be aware of, but you don't have to be really concerned about. So as long as you're good with the new forms and also the forms that we're going to talk about, the substantive revision, you're in good shapes. And I know there's a lot of forms to be aware of, and then you have to deal with. But hey, don't panic. You know, we're here to help you kind of familiarize all the forms in a methodic way. And all you have to do is look at my slides after this session, and then you compare the new one. You know, just print out the new ones and look at that, and then you look at the changes that are pointed out in the slides, and then of what the substantive revisions are. So that would help you a lot in understanding what those changes and how to implement them in your practice. Okay. So all right, let's go. The first one is as I mentioned about the RPA the last time. The RPA has very substantial changes and is good changes. So we should be aware of it and use. Make advantage of it. Okay, okay, and the first one and change in the RPA is the move. You move the increased deposit paragraph to a separate addendum because most of the time the increased deposit doesn't apply. So in order to minimize the mention in the RPA, they remove it, and then you have to use a separate addendum if you have increased the deposit. And also they modified the paragraph 3G to provide more clarity relating to the seller's payment to cover the buyer's expenses. And also the paragraph 3G3 now contains a definitive amount instead of a possibility that the seller will negotiate to pay the buyer's broker. And also buyers are making affirmative representation that they have a separate agreements that covers the brokers, the buyer's brokers commissions. And so with that, SPBB is no longer required. And also you don't need to show the buyer that the proof that you have the compensation agreement anymore. The last thing the last changes is that you have a modified escrow instruction to clarify that escrow will provide to the seller a disclosure to the buyer of how much the buyer's broker is receiving, and also disclosure to the seller of how much the seller's broker is receiving. And then we'll tell you what any credit being paid to the buyer's broker as well. The next the form is our LA, the residential listing agreement, which replaces the July 2024 version, and added a paragraph to authorize the buyer to publish or advertise the seller's willingness to consider offers asking for concessions. And then also added a corresponding paragraph to explain what the seller's concessions are. So it's pretty the simple modification. And then you have the modification of BRBC, which replaced the version in July 2024. It has the language regarding the broker contingency. Now, if the buyer does not have sufficient funds to pay the buyer's broker, what should you do? You know, in the previous BRBC, there's not much of a guidance on that, but now they have more clarity on that, what the buyers can do, either to withdraw their representation or work out with the buyers as to how it can be paid. And then also it added the paragraph to shorten the timeline to the exclusive agreement to less than 30 days as well. And then you have an AD, disclosure regarding real estate agentship requirement relationship, replaces the August 2024 version, and it's just a simple change to update to match the statutory language related to the buyer-broker representation agreements. And then you have a COBR, which is a cancellation of buyer representation that replaces the July 2024 version. It added the ability to cancel the buyer's representation if the buyer is not able to pay for the buyer's broker, and if the seller will not pay for the buyer's broker's compensation. So that is that you can actually cancel the buyer representation. And then they reformat to bring all the compensation terms together and all the parties together so that they can either mutually agree to cancel it or unilaterally to cancel the buyer's representation. CL S, which is the seller contingency removal. Now, if you have a contingency to have a buyer's purchase of a replacement property, then you have the right to check a box to extend escrow when the seller finds the replacement property. So in other words, if you need more time for the escrow to accommodate the closing of escrow of the replacement property, you have the right to extend the escrow. But of course, that right is depending on whether you have such a provision in SPRP, which is the seller's purchase the replacement property. And then you have FHDA, which is Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory, that replaces the version in June of 2023, and just clarify the protected class for race and also the racial traits. So that's just a formality. And you have the ICA, which is Independent Contractor Agreement, which this is an agreement that you have, all of you have with the broker, you know, with the co-bank George Realty. And now most of the insurance of auto insurance that they don't want to cover the broker as an additional insurer, but they are willing to do it for additional interest. The difference between additional insurer and additional interest is that additional insurers that you treated that person or the broker as somebody who are insured, and so you pay for the damages and everything. But for the additional interest, that means you are only interested party in the financial term and the financial assets that the insurance policy. It does not cover the additional interest. If you want to have that cover, you have to be additional insured. So that's the difference between additional interest and additional insured. Okay, and then you have LPD, which is the lead-based paint and hazard disclosure. That replaces the version in December 2021. Yeah, you get updated to reflect the changes related to the federal lead-based paint disclosure agreement requirements. Then you have OHNA, which is the open house visitor non-agency disclosure and sign-in. This is the form that you do, and you have an open house, and you have the guests to sign in your list. And it added a parenthesis to the title to explain that this can be used in the individual private showing. So it doesn't have to be advertised. You can use it as your private showing to your sphere of influence or your friends, so that can be used as well. Then you have MLSA, Multiple Listing Service Addendum, replaces the version in July 2024, and it removed the paragraph related to advertising to show that the seller has a willingness to consider offers with concessions. Because this is not necessary anymore. It has been moved directly into the listing agreement, so that's no longer needed. Then you have MTBR, the modification of terms of the buyers and representation agreement, and then replace this version of July 2024. You modify the agreement to make it suitable for the tenant representation agreement. So that's all it is. And you have MTLA, modification of terms of the listing agreement, same thing. You modify the agreement to make it usable for the property management agreement. So just a more wider use of the listing agreement. Okay, and then you have PSRA. Remember, when you have an open house, you either have the BRBC or PSRA, and which is the property showing and representation agreement. So for this change, it add an ability to attach the list of property that this agreement applies to, and also it add the continuation period where the broker may have a right to compensation for the broker involved properties. This replaces the version in the July 2024. And then you have SPQ that replaces the August 2024 version. Just added the question related to the water tank storage assistance during the emergency. And you have SUM, the MO, the summary of multiple offers. So it is updated to confirm to the changes in RPA and to provide a net price after the seller payments for the buyer's expenses. It replaces the version in December 2021. And you have then you have BCO, which is the buyer counter offer. It clarifies that this offer is valid even if the previous offer expires, and then and also added a new paragraph to be able to rectify the contract if the acceptance come after the counter offer expires. So that's a very minor change. Same thing with this the seller, and if the previous counter offer is already expired. This will extend the validity of the counter offer and added a new paragraph to be able to rectify the contract if the acceptance come after the counter offer expired. Same thing with the SMCO, seller multiple counter offer, and it's clarifying that this counter offer is valid even if the previous counter offer expire. Also, if you have you'll be able to rectify the contract if the acceptance come after the counter offer expire. And then you have the WBSA within the balconies and stair addendum and replaces the June 2024 version is updated to reflect the new law that will come into play then January 1st, 2026. Now that's a change of the validity of the law. And so but this only applies to non-HOA situations. And for the other ones, it's still you need to apply. You need to become. You need to comply in 2025. And also, it has an added paragraph to outline who is authorized inspector to comply with the requirement. Remember that HOA you need to have a specialized trained inspector to do the HOA balcony and stairs situation. So that is the changes in that wooden balconies and stairs. Okay, so that's all. I have that. I know this. I get it very so quickly, and this kind of you know, in a rushy situation. But I promise you that we are going to come back and do it more in detail in some of our training. And this is just a guideline for you to know what those substantial changes are. So, okay, are there any questions? Yeah. Are there any questions regarding the new forms? I know it's a lot to digest, but this is the nature of the beast. When you're in real estate, you get to comply with the forms. Any questions at all?
Yeah, Peter, I have a question. It's all these new forms and seems, before I even get a chance to familiar with the last years, now they change it.
I know.
Yeah. Now, I have one question. After review of that, I'm sharing with you my painful lesson. A long time ago, when I made an offer over a property, and the property is owned by the husband and wife, of course, and we need a signature for both. Wife signed that, and husband is happened to be a doctor. They said, okay, I will wait until my husband, get out of the hospital, then they will sign it. I wait and wait and wait. Guess what? I can, because between the wife signed and husband signed, okay, there's another offer got it, and they just grab it. Okay, so
wow.
Yeah, and I didn't listen on that. When you have both parties need to sign, you have to be very careful. Now, on all the new forms, all these things you mentioned about, there are something you mentioned about buyer's counter offer, seller's counter offer. Is there any way, even if just one party accept offer and they verbally say, yeah, my husband is going to sign that, any way we can say affirm this kind of transaction?
Yeah, in real estate transaction, verbal promise doesn't count. You have to be in writing. So I don't see how you can avoid that.
Yeah. So as of now, you have to. I have to be very careful, even when you only got one signature.
That's right.
That means nothing.
Yeah, that's why before anything, you should look at the preliminary title report and see who's on title, and make sure that everybody's informed in the very beginning.
I did.
Husband and wife.
But the husband happened to be a medical doctor, and the wife told me, he's performed some kind of surgery. And of course, you cannot pull him out to say sign it. Yeah. So all these kind of things do happen. I just want to share my experience with you.
It's a headache. Yeah, it's a hassle.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Right. Appreciate your sharing. Anybody else? Anybody want to share the experience? If not, then okay. I wish you guys have a very nice week. And this is a good time to really drum up your marketing and stick to your business plan. Okay. All right. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Okay.